cette prochaine séquence, je vais vous demander de bien vouloir accueillir chaleureusement. C'est une séquence c'est une séquence très masculine, ça vraiment ça va pas. On parle de parité depuis tout à l'heure, de diversité, de choses comme ça, mais il y a 6 messieurs qui vont venir sur scène là maintenant, et je vais les appeler, je vais les accueillir. Bon, ils ont bien été choisis, ils sont là pour une bonne raison, ils vont nous parler de choses passionnantes sur l'Europe, et je vous demande d'accueillir bien chaleureusement monsieur Yariv Abehsehra, Marc Fleschen, Jean-Marcel Rozan, Pierre-Antoine Vacheron et Fabian Vogelsteller. Bienvenue à vous, messieurs. Et pour modérer cette table ronde, enfin c'est une table, c'est pas une table, hein, on est là, on est debout devant vous, mais pour modérer cet échange, merci d'accueillir notre président de Dewan. Mais oui, monsieur président, j'aime bien, je trouve que ça donne un,
oui, moi, ça me vieillit surtout.
Président de Dewan. Denis Jacquet, je vous laisse entre vous, entre hommes. Hein.
Ouais, une ambiance virile pour cette séance de ce matin. Vous savez, Coluche disait que le ping-pong et le tennis c'était pareil, en fait, c'était juste que les joueurs étaient sur la table. Donc bon, ben voilà, c'est un petit peu... So we'll kind of alternate English and French because our guest Fabian is coming from Germany and he has, like me, vague memories of German and he has vague memories of French. We'll switch from one to the other, and because some of these gentlemen went out very late, they said, okay, I'll speak French, not you. We promised that we would have a kind of gender balance agenda during these 2 days, and that's one of the only exceptions, because I think we were really 50-50 men and women on stage, so I think it was a good thing. Last year it was 35% of women, it was 50% this year. Next year 60 ladies, you will be like in the world. So Pierre-Antoine Vacheron is the head of Natixis payment. Fabian, it's more complicated to present you, but you're the genius of blockchain, currencies, and all the real worldwide application of this wonderful technology, but I will elaborate a little bit more. Mark, it's interesting because yesterday we had this session during the dinner about Li-Fi internet via the light, and we'll elaborate on that. Yariv, a famous startupper who did a very successful company that now is running but in a different environment, and we'll come back to it. And Jean-Manuel Rozan, a very old friend, usually he's seated because he's very old. No, I'm kidding. And was the co-founder of Qwant. The European search engine will be very soon larger than Google in every way.
Exactly.
Okay. So this topic this morning is about building a European leadership and how do we do it? And mainly because I think we cannot expect anything from the European authorities and sometimes from government. How do we build it? Us, companies, innovators, startups. So let's start to this shaky section, 20 minutes, very fast. So we need technology to do that. So Marc and Fabian, I would like you to start, French or English, whatever, because there's translation in the room, so you can do whatever you want, German, Chinese, whatever. Yeah, okay.
I'll stick to English, that would be better.
Wonderful.
So our company, 01, is a company specialized in wireless communication. But before explaining how it works, I'm just going to explain why we do it. And
exactly.
The reason why we are doing it is because we've been talking for the past 2 days about the impact that technology has. And basically, I don't want to have another day one in maybe 10 years and having to explain the consequences of what technology could actually do in the next coming years. What I mean is that everything that is based on technology is based on infrastructure and connectivity. And what we don't really realize is the impact that it also has on the planet. Yesterday there was gluten-free and food on the lunch. People eat local, organic, they do a lot of efforts, they go with bicycle, they buy hybrid or electrical car. But when it comes down to infrastructure, we kind of are oblivious about that. And in reality, technology is pushing always the limit of communication. That's why we've got 5G today. And the problem is that we don't realize the increase of energy consumption that we are putting, and we don't realize the radio frequency we are living in. And those two elements, maybe today they are irrelevant, but maybe in 5 or 10 years, when the increase of AI, VR, AR, blockchain, everything that's going to be connected in the next couple of years, that impact will probably have a very strong impact on the planet. And in order to build a better tomorrow, it's always better to start with better base today, not to repeat the problem of the past tomorrow. So we created a technology, and we actually work with different European entities for that. It's called Li-Fi, which stands for light fidelity. The idea of that is, we all know LED lights. They are the most energy savings lights. But what if you could combine data on those same LED? So it means you had a data layer, of communication layer, without increasing first the energy consumption, because you already have the light, it's everywhere. So that means that you've got a sustainable layer of communication. Most of the people think that being sustainable means making compromise. In that particular case, not at all. It really helps us to push really right to new limits. And in that case, you can actually connect to the speed of light, literally. It has no radio frequency, so it's healthier. It's literally tech for good. And it's more secure. Because if you think about it, radio frequency goes through walls. And in that particular case, it's very geolocalized, so all your data are protected. And in order to be able to establish this new layer of communication, we created an alliance, which is based in Luxembourg. And the government of Luxembourg is an observer member of the alliance. It's called the LCA, which stands for Light Communication Alliance. And we decided to work amongst 16 different founder members, so 01 is one of them, CEA Leti is one of them, Institut Mines et Telecom, Nokia Bell Labs, Liberty Global, which is part of Virgin Media, and the seat of the alliance is in Luxembourg. And now you're talking about the help that government could do. One of the help that Luxembourg has initiated about this new technology, and because they really believe that this new layer of communication, which is healthy, green, and free, basically, should be included in the 5G. We are working now, and we've got in December a meeting with the European Union to include actually Li-Fi in the 5G evolution, to support technological evolution, but without having an impact on the health and on the planet. That's what we do.
Okay, so a good technology, a new technology, a clean technology, and gather all the actors to make sure that there's something happening in Europe. And funny enough, like in Monaco, it happens in small territories. That's what we were discussing backstage with Fabian. So nobody's understanding anything about blockchain, right? 99% of the people that you question, what is blockchain? I don't know. And I think we don't care how it works, but what does it build? How is it useful? So 2 questions for you, Fabian, if you will. First one, give us a few ideas about real life application in every daily compartment of life that we may have. And the second, you said something very interesting. You say a lot of things interesting backstage, saying a lot of people are trying to use this technology on old business models and infrastructures when we need to build new systems to apply this technology. So if you could elaborate, and the third question will be, where is Europe in terms of blockchain?
Yeah.
And you got 30 seconds. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. So maybe a very short introduction. So there is this technology which is like very cryptographic, it's like very hard to understand. But what we have to understand is that this is a technology that enables communication and economical interaction on a level that we don't need a necessarily middleman.
Yeah.
So right now we are completely depending on institutions and governments and structures or banks, for example, to do anything economical. This is solved through cryptography and math. And that means basically we have for the first time a layer where we can globally interact, economically interact, without that we necessarily need to have trustees in the middle who could be corrupted or who could have their own selfish interest in allowing or disallowing certain interactions. Yeah. This technology, so most people think about money if they think about blockchain because they heard Bitcoin is money, price went up and down and so on. My background is with the Ethereum Foundation. I have actually worked in the Ethereum Foundation for the last 4 years, and Ethereum is the second largest blockchain, and this is the first one that introduced smart contracts. So this means you can actually build programs on the blockchain, meaning attaching a lot more logic than simply moving a value from A to B. These kind of smart contracts, This is what allows to build complex economical interactions. And the things which are mostly interesting in this case is digital ownership of things. And this could be physical items, this could be digital items. For example, I'm currently building a blockchain for the lifestyle arena. So it's a public network for all kind of use cases, mainstream basically, you could say, where you can own the physical items you buy digitally, provably. Means you resolve counterfeit problems, for example, the fashion industry, you create new kind of loyalty or brand interactions, and you actually, and this is the most important thing what blockchain enables, it levels the playing field of the different actors. So today we have big monopolies, the future will be big ecosystems, but those ecosystems will be not controlled by one single entity or one single board. They are controlled by a whole community in a more actually direct democratic way. So we will have even bigger monopolies than we have today, but there will be more like countries rather than companies. Because companies by design are dictatorships. You know, you have the boss talking down to the employee. Ecosystems are driven by consensus. They're driven by people working together and agreeing on things. And that's what blockchain enables, and it levels the playing field of new actors coming in. And when you talk about where stands Europe, actually Europe is a strong center in blockchain development. Berlin especially is somewhat a capital of blockchain development. Each country kind of has their different strength. So I mean, for example, the US is more application side, Europe or Berlin especially is more infrastructure side. So the Ethereum Foundation is based in Switzerland. There was a development team for years in Berlin, and there's a lot of infrastructure being built in Berlin. And Asia, for example, is more about also applications. It's more about actually the financial aspect of blockchain. And so we kind of like have, it's a very global phenomena, and it connects the Asian and the Western world strongly. I mean, more than any other tech we have seen before. And it's kind of like everybody contributes to this global phenomena. Countries really don't matter so much anymore in that world. I mean, emails don't have boundaries. You know, the internet doesn't stop at the border, ideally at least.
But still the regulators can block things.
Yes and no. I mean, you can obviously circumvent basically almost every traffic on the internet. That's called VPN services, for example, allow that. But I mean, the stronger the economic force behind these new global movements, the less anybody's even interested in blocking it, because exactly it means cutting yourself out of innovation and not like, you know, preventing it.
Yeah. Good. I'm going back on the right and on the left, just a matter for me to remain flexible. Search engines, Jean-Manuel. So do you think Europe has been a strong backup for you to emerge like a huge search engine, or do you feel that they don't see the emergency to have a strong leader that wouldn't be Chinese or American?
Well, when we speak about Qwant, first thing is we are on the right side of history, because we have from the beginning decided that we would respect the private life of people and the privacy of the data of companies. So people who use Qwant gain that privacy. As far as the support of different elements in the European community, it's been very strong for a small company, but it's not been global and strong enough. I want to tell you two things. First of all, Fabian is right that it's all in the creation of ecosystems, but I think that people are mistaking in one way. It's not only geographical. In other words, you can say there is the American internet, says I know everything about you. There is the Chinese internet. I'm allowed to come in your territory, but you cannot come in mine. And you can argue, if you want to be very cynical, there is no European internet. But there is a new divide that is, and it's structuring ecosystem around it, which is who is respecting privacy and who needs to invade privacy for their business model. So then you have a different ecosystem that's appearing. You have on one hand all the companies that need to have your personal data. So we're going to say Google, Baidu, Yandex, Amazon, Facebook, and everyone else. And I'll make it very small and very short. And who are the companies in the ecosystem who don't need that for their business model and don't want it? Okay, I'm going to do it very simple. Apple, Microsoft, and Qwant. And a bunch of companies that provide technology everywhere in Europe. So I think that there would be European ecosystems and that would integrate in a transnational ecosystem along those lines.
Yariv, you have been building a very nice company. We need more companies like this, able to go from scratch to more than 100 million euros in less than 15 years, dominated their market, and suddenly having an alliance with a company who came into your shareholder, coming somewhere from the state, even it's from Caisse des Dépôts and Compagnie des Alpes and everything. So it means that there could be some kind of combination between somebody who doesn't understand anything about the internet and an internet company to build something strong. Yeah.
We have half an hour.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
No, the discussion is to say how the technology and the level of my company, for example, Travelski, how it's able to scale the French model to the European model. And I decided to say, okay, we have two choices. First of all, to say how we can work with an industrial vision, needed a distribution and e-commerce and web needs for the customers, and we have to take care about three things, and you discuss about this. Technology first, and we have a lot of problems to scale up our model to the European because we have to take care about rules, payment, because the payment for Dutch is not the same for the French. The payment for you have to change also the money for the UK market. So you have to take care about all the supply chain, and it's really simple to think about it, but to organize everything and to make the supply chain that the client will be sure that insurance, confidence with the trust. So for me, at this moment, we have time to market, and we have to take time to work for the new markets, but it's impossible to take care about the supply chain and to wait for time to market. So it's why we decided to have cooperation with Compagnie des Alpes, who is the world leader of the ski lift companies, to have data and to win time with the knowledge of the clients and the needs of the clients of the European consumption, because it's not the same for the UK markets or the Netherlands markets as attended of the ski holidays, for example. So we have to collaborate and to win time with technology and to accelerate the time to market.
Yeah. But it was funny, the example you gave yesterday when we did this session for the Monaco entrepreneurs who was in the room, saying, now I've got a company who is doing remontée mécanique, I don't know the translation for
company, yeah.
Ski lift. They are doing ski lift, I'm doing sales online, and we are merging together to build something new. So that's very interesting combination now. Yeah.
We will see in 2 years, but it's really interesting because we have to learn about the process, because it's really safe and really processing company, and the agility of a web company to scale up the model and to take part of the UK market, for example. So we have to learn about them, but they have to learn about us, the agility and the time to market and the technology to merge and the data.
Yeah.
It's really important.
So, Pierre Antoine, good thing is that there's a few elements of sovereignty, as we call it, and payment is certainly one of these. So the objective of this panel is not to say, oh, China is bad or the US is bad. It's a matter of competition, but in the word competition, you need to have competitors. And we need European competitors to have a real competition. So Natixis payment is at the forefront of everything with payment inside. So how are you building an international, worldwide, or at least European offer able to compete with any other competitors?
I think the answer is in the Fabian's comments. We are in very exciting times, made of a lot of disruption, and the implication is that there is no more given market share. You can disrupt anyone, and even a traditional player can disrupt a new player if he's got the right solution. And so it's a massive opportunity for all of us, and the very key point is how you build a network of skills, how you build a network of technologies, how you build a network of cultures that will make you the most agile, the most adapted to the needs of a customer at the digital age. And we were discussing backstage about the very proposition of grouping and selling, reselling different partners in the ski industry, and that's exactly what you can do if you are agile enough. So the approach Natixis has been first to make acquisitions of fintechs, various fintechs. So the pot commun that we saw yesterday is one of those, and so we have them on the consumer side, on the merchant side, and then to have the right approach in terms of integration. Some of them are core, so you will integrate more. Some of them are less core, you let them go, you let them grow on their own. You will integrate the technologies, but not absorb the technologies, just make them speak together, because the API enables you now to make technology speak easily. And so we do that with companies that we have acquired, and we do that also with startups with whom we build partnerships. Sometimes we take some shares in the round, but basically we build together some solutions that will bring added value for them, added value for us, a bridge between retail and payments that make a unique solution that makes a player like us able to win against the American guys.
And at this stage, Natixis, can we say that you are one of the 2 or 3 major players in this field?
No, we are quite humble. I mean, we are very strong on the French market. We have something like 20% of the French market. We are expanding in some geographies depending on the offers, because again, you need to be agile and focused in what you do. But clearly, we have a very good traction because the approach we have in terms of building a community makes a lot of sense and already gets some success.
Wonderful. So, to conclude this panel, what we want to show is that if you think about it, let's say that you connect to the internet through the technology of this guy, plus the federation of people that you are gathering around you. Then you search a website for e-commerce through a search engine that leads you to Yariv website to buy your next vacation at ski, then pay it online with a technology developed by Fabian. And if you take these 5 gentlemen and all the companies that we have around it, we just build a huge stuff. So the point about day one, and one of the group I would like to start next year, meaning tomorrow, about mobile payment, because it's a very huge matter, is to check how we could work all together, and people in the room, the other companies, people that are watching online, to say, okay, who wants to join these 5 to 6 entities companies to build something strong? And in one word, would you say, do you see any help, backing, or when you speak about payment, I don't know, to French government, to your opinion, do you feel that there's something that they say, oh, yeah, that's very important for us? Do you feel that or not?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah?
There's a lot of value to have this type of approach. It has to be based on customer needs. It has to be based on use cases, so that we make sure that we do something that brings something.
And Fabian, you mentioned in one word as well, but that small territories, Monaco, Liechtenstein, were more flexible and faster going on this market?
I mean, in terms of blockchain and anything in innovation in that matter, especially because it's very much also attached to money, it's kind of like these small states like Malta and Monaco and Liechtenstein, and they want to be on the forefront, and that's actually a great chance for those little states to make a change and have the first thriving businesses. I mean, the blockchain space currently is valued $230 billion, and that's just the beginning. So that will be the base layer of where we run our economies in the future on.
I thought I had a cool suit, but definitely yours is the best during this today. Very nice. Jean-Manuel, so do you think you would need more support from the European environment?
I think everyone will need more support from each other, and that's what's happening. I think people are wrong to have just a static vision of what it is to build an ecosystem. You have to take a view over time. So if you see the progress that has been made all over Europe in all different places, Berlin, France, Bordeaux, whatever, and if you see all this work and then you project that another 5 years, another 10 years, then you see the power of what's happening. And definitely, it is right that all the governments of Europe support all of the European companies. I just want to tell you something funny very fast. 5 years ago, the President of the United States of America, that was not Donald Trump, it was Barack Obama, he took the stage and he said, we own the internet, we developed it, you don't understand anything about it, and this is the way it should be. So this is because the American government invested heavily in technology 25 years ago, that now they have all these great companies. So it's the same here. Everyone should do their part, the VCs, the small companies, the region, and of course all of the European governments.
Yariv, I will offer you, as I will do with all of you, to join a digital group that we will announce later in November with Spotify, with Qwant, with Le Bon Coin, with 5 or 6 major actors that we have in Europe, and join them to make sure that we have a strong group working cross industries, but on the digital side at day one, that will start in January. So we'll make this announcement, and I will be very happy for you to join. And God bless the light. It's certainly technology. We have also Fabian Pierre that from Ivory Coast that you met him. He should be in your federation. So thank you for listening.
Thank you.
The group is coming down, and day one will help shape and make sure that we are all working together for a better future and being better competitors. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you.